Good about those. Thanks again for tuning into yet another video. We have some leftover dyno mat, some sound deadener mat, or whatever you want to call it, that I used for my FXRT fairing when I was getting some rattling noise. So I figured, you know what, maybe I could use this mat on the lining of this helmet. So we, of course, removed the cheek pads. Very easy, very simple and easy for the Mod Bandit. You only have a 3-button cheek pad attachment. So they came out fairly easy. You can see 1, 2, 3, 2 on the top and 1 towards the back of the helmet. Same thing on the right side. You do have 2 screws on the inside of the foam. Those 2 are towards the edge of the opening. So you can see it right here as well. You have 2 screws. These are tiny screws, very tiny. You just remove those 2 screws and the whole cheek pad foam insert comes off, of course. So very simple, just 2 little screws. The ones you see on the table, those are the 2 that you remove, and it just slides out like so. Try not to force it out. There's a chance you might rip this foam. I've done it with other helmets. So now, of course, we grab our dyno mat, or whatever you want to call it. Just, trace it out. It's super simple. You don't really have to get any paper. Just put it up against the inner shell, and then just, take a pen and then just give yourself a little bit of a guide. You can see it looks pretty good. I also wanted to keep away from the vent. You can see towards the back, you can see that there's still a vent right where my finger's at. So I didn't want to cover that up. But after, my results, I kind of decided maybe I do want to cover up. You can see that little grill. Maybe I do want to cover up that vent, because I might be getting some sound or just the loudness of this helmet. This helmet is extremely loud. All right. So even after these improvements, the helmet is still fairly loud. I'd say, long video short, it helped out by maybe 20 to 30% on how loud the helmet is. So you could also see on this side of the helmet, on the left side, you have the drop down visor. So I wasn't able to fully line the inside of the ear area on this side. But like I said, minor improvement, fairly easy to kind of install. The mat itself, it's about $10. You get a ton of it, so you could actually line the whole shell. I would just say you are going to be adding some weight. So easy install. Like I said, these are the cheek pads, foam area. This is what protects your skull. Make sure you fully insert like so. Just look at this. Fairly easy. Super simple. You just slide it on in there as you hold the strap, the chin strap, of course. And like I mentioned, there's only 2 little screws on this, and that's pretty much it. You just repeat what you saw on this, repeat it on the other side of the helmet, and then, of course, you just put in those 2 little screws where my fingers are at. So I also added where the cavity of the speakers go in. Hey, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the rest of the video. Thanks again for tuning into yet another video. You guys already saw the beginning of the video. So we have the insulation, the dyno mat, I guess that's what you call it. I'm not too sure. The helmet does feel a little bit heavier, just a tad bit. I mean, the mat, or whatever you call it, the filament, or what is it called? The sound deadener, deadener mat. It does feel a little bit heavy. It's not that thick. It's actually pretty thin compared to some of the other options out there. What is going on with these guys? Here we go. Alright, so is it improved on the sound? It's still loud. It is still loud. I think the next thing for me to do is install the little ear muffs where the opening of the how do you call it, the cavities where you would normally put speakers in. I think that might help. Right now, like I said, we did insulate the inside of the shell pretty easy. I think it improved a little bit, just a slight bit. I mean, it's still louder than most of my other helmets. I think, you know, I'm just, like I said, I can hear my exhaust listening to it. I think I think it's improved. All right, overall here, it's still a little loud.
6.5 hours later,
I'd say somewhere between 20 to 30% improvement on the loudness. It's gone down by that much, so not a huge amount. Like I said, we're just gonna have to try something else, or maybe double up on the mat. So we still have plenty of room. We could double up on the mat. That's gonna add a little bit more weight, but you know, the helmet, it's already, the helmet itself, it's pretty light, 3.8 pounds. I already mentioned, for a modular helmet, that is pretty light, surprisingly. So even if you were to add a little bit more around, you know, the ear section, I think it's gonna help out just a tad bit more. But we'll do the foam first. We'll do the foam, we'll give it a try. But so far, like I said, probably a 20 to 30% improvement. And considering how much the mat or the filler cost, or the dyno mat, you know, it's adhesive, so it's nice. It sticks to the, you know, to the cheek area. You could even put it on the back of the padding too. Maybe I'll try that. Double up on the mat, and then maybe, you know, give that a try as well. So the more we put on, the more, of course, weight we're going to put on the helmet. So it's a trade-off, and I think it's probably worth it. I'm not too sure if I'm going to use this to motovlog, because of, you know, the weight's going to, you know, it's going to add on a little bit more weight. The GoPro Hero 8 weighs in at about 4 ounces plus the bracket and all that other stuff, and my neck's not, you know, not too good. You know, I've had some training, some jiu-jitsu stuff, some neck issues, and that's just something that I typically find when I motovlog for long periods of time, with, depending on, of course, the camera. So here, let's bring it up a little bit more up to speed. We also have, of course, the Road Warrior fairing, so we have some wind control, some wind protection, a little bit. I wanted to test it out on the Sportster. Of course, I didn't want to try it out on the Lowrider S, because I have the full fairing, and typically people don't have, of course, they don't have wind protection, or they have something kind of small like this, a quarter fairing or something like that. So I figured, you know what, this is going to give me the best results, so I can share with, you know, you folks out there. And if you have a Road Glide, or you have, like I said, an FXRT fairing, you have something a little bit bigger than what I have on the Road Warrior with the Road Warrior, sorry, then this, you know, it's going to be a little bit more improvements over my results.
6.5 hours later.
Alright, so that's pretty much it. We took it up to 70, 75. Yeah, it's still loud. It gets louder at about 45 miles per hour, so there is a slight improvement. Like I said, I'd say, you know, probably 20% improvement over how loud the helmet is, and it just gets significant louder at you know, 45 and up. I'd say it's probably as loud as my 3/4. Probably no, I don't think so. My Moto 3, I have a Moto 3. I would say this thing is still louder than my Moto 3. That just shows you how loud this helmet is compared to you know, a 3/4 helmet. I also have another 3/4 helmet, like a real legit 3/4 helmet, and I would say that helmet is still not as loud as this one. So even, you know, with the improvements, we're just gonna have to try out the other options, and I guess stay tuned, see if that helps with how loud that is, or how loud the bike is, or the helmet is. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking out the video. If you're looking for a slight improvement on the noise or how loud the helmet is, you could try the matte. I would say probably double up. Just double up. That might even help. I might remove the inner padding completely and just add a little bit more. I think some of the sounds coming from the rear vents of this thing, because the rear vents, they're like, of course they're right here. I'm not sure, maybe you guys might not be able to see it, but the rear vents, they're pretty close to the back of the ear, so that could be the reason why this thing is just loud. And then of course the shell of this thing, it's really light. It's really flexible. Surprisingly, it's just because of the material, and like I mentioned, it's probably because of the weight. Like I said, this is one of the lightest helmets. As far as a modular helmet, this is one of the lightest. So you guys stay out there, stay safe. Thanks for tuning in. Life's for us. Get out there and ride. Later.